Hello, this is Tom Vasel.
I'm Joe Steadman, and we have no idea what we're doing.
Well, we don't even have the name for this show yet, because as creative as I can be, I can't think of any off the top of my head.
Tom, not creative? No, come on.
All right, so if you can think of a name for our show, if our show lasts more than one episode,
I doubt it.
Then you can email to me, and we'll pick at tomvassel@gmail.com, and we'll pick the best one, and I'll give you 15 Geek Gold because I'm a Geek Gold
maniac. He won't give me no Geek Gold. Well, I gotta beg mine from Grognerds.
Oh, Grognerds has disappeared off the web.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you have criticisms about the equipment we're using, we can tell you to stuff it.
Because we don't know what we're doing.
So actually, if you have good advice, we have access to some pretty nice stuff, but we don't know anything about it. We don't even know we're recording this in low quality because we figure no one cares that much anyway, and maybe we won't even get it on the internet. So we'll find out. All right. Anyway, most people know who we are, but we thought we'd introduce ourselves for those people there are still some delusional people who think that we're the same person, two different sides.
Split personalities here.
But we're not.
Thankfully.
Yes, I agree. Okay, I'm Tom Vasel. Currently, I'm a missionary in South Korea. I live in the city of Uijeonbu, which is just north of Seoul. In fact, there's not much difference between it and Seoul. It's part of the Seoul subway network and so on. And I'm a missionary at Uijeonbu Baptist Church, and I teach at International Christian School of Uijeonbu. I'm the junior high math teacher. I run the board game club at the school there. Occasionally, I write board game reviews on the internet. You may have seen one or two of them. And also, I'm currently running a series of interviews called Interviews by an Optimist. And now, Joe.
Oh, okay. Well, basically, mine's the same as Tom's, but I teach history at the high school. I teach high school and one junior high class. I work a lot with the soldiers that are stationed over here. I'm a veteran myself, and I just enjoy working with these guys. I play games with them, mostly war games and miniatures, 40K, things like that. But we throw the occasional Euro game in, but mostly we play the war games and the miniatures, things like that. I also just like being in Korea. It's a good time. And me and Tom, we've been friends for, 3 years? How long have we been friends?
I don't remember. I think it's been 3 years. Well, we're in 2005. Yeah, we met in 2002.
Yeah, so we've been friends for a while. So he puts up with me, I put up with him. And
even though we actually did go to the same college, but if we met there, I don't remember it. And if we had met there,
I had seen his wife there before, but I never actually seen Tom.
Well,
but you sat next to my brother-in-law, which is weird.
Yes. Anyway. All right, so moving right along on our agenda that we scribbled down about 5 minutes before we started the show. We're just talking about different things. We figured we'd start with our top 10 games. If you've listened to my Geek Speak at Board Game Geek, you already know my top 10 games.
Geek Speak, what is that?
Oh, yes. I guess I should give credit to where credit is due. Our show is inspired by Geek Speak to a degree, by Aldi and Dirk from www.boardgamegeek.com, which is, in my opinion, the premier site of board games on the internet.
Euro games, right?
But I would say that there's a large proportion of war gamers there now.
Sure.
In fact, I would wager there's more there than there at Console World, even though Joe disagrees with me.
I don't know about that.
I have little love for Console World, but
it's because you can't figure out the interface.
They exist too, but in my opinion, they're a distant second.
Everyone's got an opinion.
Also, I wanted to give some props to, whenever the website decides to pop up here. But there's gaming blogs on the internet, and Mark Johnson, he did his Board Games to Go on a weblog, and so I asked him some questions about it, and he gave me some information, most of which I suddenly disregarded because I realized that we had this really cool microphones that we could use.
Yeah, it's just sitting here.
So currently, this webcast is not hosted anywhere that I know of.
No.
We're hoping that maybe GameFest.com or Board Game Geek hosts it. If not, We're going to post it up at Joe's website.
Which I don't have a whole lot of memories, so.
Yeah, so
Thinking Yahoo.
if you would like to host our show, actually, we'll see. By the time you hear the show, it's probably hosted
One geek
somewhere.
gold a month. We're willing to pay 1 geek gold a month.
of my money?
No, I'll actually, I'll pick a picture of one of my war games that no one's ever heard of.
Maybe you should explain your reviews for people who've ever read one of your reviews and wonder what you're all about.
Mostly I just write tongue-in-cheek because I like to poke fun at Eurogamers and Euro games, and basically I like to make fun of Tom. It's kind of our friendship. I do that every day, and then it just kind of bled over onto the internet. Tom forces me to play games, all these crazy Euro games all the time, and some of them I just thought were silly. The themes, and they just seem repetitive. But anyway, I had a good time making fun of them, and so I wrote a few funny reviews, and people either they loved it or they hated it. I got hate mail, death threats. No, I didn't really get any death threats, but I got hate mail. Then I got people telling me right on and all this. So I'm so busy I can hardly do it, but when I do, it's always fun.
Well, if there's anything we've learned about the internet, it doesn't matter what you write, people are going to criticize you. They either criticize you for being too optimistic, and when you are pessimistic,
Or talking about creationism.
or being too hard-hitting on Steve Jackson
Ooh.
with one or two semi-mild questions.
Yeah, but that was Maverick. He don't count.
No, Mr. Cranky, Josh Adelson.
Mr. Cranky jumped in. I gotta go read that.
Yeah, so we are,
Because he's such a nice guy.
well, yes, indeed. And we'll see him at Origins. Speaking of which,
we'll both be at Origins this year.
we will be. So,
We were both there last year, but no one really knew us.
unlike Aldi and Dirk, though, we're not going to spend our time broadcasting from there. I'm there mainly to play games. So,
Same here.
if you see me walking around looking for something to do and you have a game, I will gladly try it out.
I'll probably be in the war room. I know I'm modded. I'm doing some GMing of a couple games. I'll just hang out there and play war games with all the old stuffy grog nerds and have a good time
And
make fun of Eurogamers.
yes, with El Senor Richard Berg.
Yes.
Well, and I'll be probably right across the hallway from the main doors to the exhibition hall. There's like a little food stand and lots of tables there. And last year, that's where a lot of the Euro games were being played, and I went in and just started playing. And most people are pretty good about allowing you to play games. All right, our favorite games. Both our top 10 lists. I don't believe we have the same game on either top 10 list.
No, I'm pretty sure we don't.
Although Joe has a couple on his that are in my top 20, and vice versa, I'm sure. Actually, Joe only has one game that's in my top 20. But all right, we'll start with we better start with number 1 because I don't have mine listed in reverse order. I remember them from 1 to 10.
All right, go ahead.
All right, my top game is Duel of Ages by Venetic Games 2003, and I think it made a big splash when it first came out with a lot of people because it mixes role-playing with Advanced Squad Leader. I guess I shouldn't say Advanced Squad Leader.
Just because it's got Opportunity Fire? I don't know about that.
Advanced Squad Leader, Unadvanced Squad Leader, with hexes and stuff. I like the variety. It offers massive variety. It's a lot of fun. It's not out anymore. I mean, it's still being sold, but they're not currently making any new expansions. But I really like the game.
It's a fun game. I just wish that the components were a little nicer. I guess I don't know. Here I am a war gamer, and I'm complaining about chits instead of plastic pieces, but
Well, even war games are getting higher quality. You look at Columbia's games.
I hate those boards too. I know you like them, but I hate those hexagonal or those. What are those things called?
It's the hex and key system or something.
Yeah, I don't like those. My favorite game is Diplomacy. I love the game because you can lie, cheat, and steal and not feel guilty about it. And if you're like me, but Tom, he can't play it. But I'm addicted to Diplomacy. I play right now. I'm currently in 3 games on the internet. One of those is on the Judges. One of those is at Diplomacy 2000. I'm in. And the other one is just with some friends here in Korea. I'm playing Medieval Diplomacy. I'm playing Galactic Diplomacy or Galactic Battleground Diplomacy. It's basically a spin-off. I just really like the game. I like the lie, cheating, and stealing part of it.
Well, there's a lot of games I dislike, like Time Control or Candyland, but they're not really worthy of being a good game anyway. Most people agree with me on those. But I would say in the top 10 games that I dislike that are actually liked by many people, Diplomacy is very high. I really can't stand Diplomacy.
You can't handle the pressure.
I don't like...
All I gotta say is fleet English Channel to Brest, and Tom gets goosebumps because he's still mad about that.
Yeah, well, I wasn't lied to even. I just was not.
Our friend Bob really stabbed him good.
Yeah, he didn't tell me that he wasn't going to attack there, and he also didn't tell me. But long story short, I just don't like the game, and it's one of the few games where people just get so angry, and it takes up such a long time.
But it's the first game I played that I remember playing it and feeling like I was at a sporting event, like, and it was like the 9th inning and bases were loaded, and that's just the way I felt like the whole game.
But maybe that's why I don't like it, because you, as an experienced diplomacy player, you have your first. If you're Turkey, here's what you should do first.
Yeah, I got all the opening strategies. Right?
I don't know any of that stuff. I don't read. I don't like reading articles on the internet. I mean, Alex Rockwell does a good job on Board Game Geek, but I don't like reading the ultimate strategy on how to win Puerto Rico or so on, because to me that ruins the game. I'd rather just pull it out and try something new that day. All right, my number 2 game is Cosmic Encounter, and I like it for the same reasons I like Duel of Ages, and it's just sheer variety. I have a triple hybrid mix where I've taken 2 of the new Avalon Hill version games. I painted the pieces of one, mixed them together so I can have up to 8 players, even though I do believe 6 is the best. And then I used the cards from Mayfair, even though the creators of Cosmic told me they liked Eon best. I still like the Mayfair version, so I mixed these together.
Someone who likes Mayfair better. Wow. I thought they were the ones that always messed up games.
I'm actually pretty impressed with modern Mayfair games. We played Russian Rails recently, Amazonas. They've come out with some pretty good games, and they're also partnering with Da Vinci Games.
They got some cool guys who work on their staff.
You like Bang a lot.
Yeah, I like Bang. My second favorite is ASL, or Advanced Squad Leader, to all you Euro gamers. ASL is good. It's just it takes a while to get the system down, but once you know the game, it's just there's nothing that can beat it. And just the fan base for it and the support, it's just one of the best games I think there is. I just wish I could find someone in Korea that would play against me. But the only time I get the chance to play is when I go to Origins, and then I get my tail kicked because I'm so out of playing it. But I still love the game.
Well, you'll convert someone someday.
I just wish they would hurry up and reprint that rule book. I don't know what's going on at Multiman, but anyway, that's a whole different topic.
My number 3 game is Twilight Imperium 3rd edition. It used to be Twilight Imperium 2nd edition, but I really love the 3rd edition. I don't care that people think the game's broken. I don't care that people don't like some of the rules. I do. I don't care what other people think about the game. I like it. It's a great game. The box is bigger than all 3 of my kids. It's huge. The pieces are great. Options. It's an epic game, and I usually don't like epic games, as I said about diplomacy. But Twilight Imperium has just so much going on in it. I love it. It's a great game.
I like the game a lot too. I don't know if I like the whole Puerto Rico spin they gave it. I'm still trying to get used to that.
Joe's not a big fan of Puerto Rico.
No, oh come on, Tom, it's my favorite game. Let's go play right now.
Well, that came across real good over the mic.
My 3rd favorite game is Kremlin, the old Avalon Hill great. I love that game. I just actually bought the expansion that has the real people, the historical characters in it, which makes the game a little neat, a little more.
Did you get it yet?
Yeah, I have it at my house right now. It's a little more gruesome this way, but this way I can try to play it in my history class next year, and if the principal walks in, I can say I'm playing a history-related game. But I just love Kremlin. It's just a good time. I love axing each other and killing people. I got really frustrated one time playing it, though, with Tom's wife. Remember that?
Yeah, my wife doesn't always catch any games real quickly right away, or else she pretends she doesn't, but she was randomly killing off people. And
she killed like someone way down at the bottom for no reason, and I had like all my points on that person, and it was just really annoying.
But I agree, that's annoying when it happens, but I agree with Joe. It may not be in my top 10, but I really do like Kremlin. I'm looking right now to see where it is on my list. Well, it's not in my top 20, but it's really close. Kremlin is a tremendous game. If they made an updated version of Kremlin with nice components, it could easily move in the top 10. I'm a sucker for components, and Kremlin just has such a neat concept.
Yeah.
Number 4 for me is Ticket to Ride, and I have to say that right now it's a tie between Ticket to Ride and Ticket to Ride Europe, because they're pretty much the same game system. With Europe is more for gamers, while Ticket to Ride is for beginners, but they're both Alan Moon. It's just a tremendous game by him. It's my favorite game to introduce new people to gaming with, and that's number 4 for me.
I just have fun trying to mess that game up. trying to take the weird ways to play.
Yeah, Joe tried to
It was fun. And
complete the most routes one time, which doesn't get you much points.
I did all the 1s and the 2s.
But
It was fun. My number 4 is We the People, another Avalon Hill game. It's just, I don't know, I just really love it. It's a card-driven game. Me and my buddy Bob Barhouse, we've played it quite a few times. I think we're about 50-50 now. It's just one of the few games I actually take the time to play online. I should play more games online, more war games, but it's just such a hassle setting them up and using the different systems and acts and all these different things. But I really like We the People. It's a good game. I wish they'd redo it. I wish they'd redo the Civil War one, For the People, because We the People is just a really good game.
number 5 for me is Wallenstein. Wallenstein, and I'm really excited about the upcoming Queen Japanese version of the game, and I'm looking forward to that because I really like the cube tower. Yes, it's random. Yes, it does really strange things. Yes, you have to put it on a different table so that the clumsy ox doesn't knock all the cubes out and everyone yells at him. But it has everything in it. I might be biased towards it because I usually do fairly well at it, but
it's a fun game.
It's just a good game.
The tower is kind of weird, but it's a fun game.
I'm surprised the tower is not used in more games.
It's because it's so random.
Yeah, probably. But it aren't dice. We don't want to get into a random thing. We'll do that in another show.
The next game for me, number 5, is Breakout Normandy. That whole family of games is really good. There's Breakout Normandy and Turning Point Stalingrad, Storm over Arnhem. What else was there? Is Thunder at Casino, and then Monty's Gamble is a new one. But I think Breakout Normandy is the best of the family. I'm still trying to get someone to play against me over here. I had one guy going, but then he never made his first move, and so I had to stare at it set up in I got a little war room in my house, my extra bedroom, and I had it set up in there for probably a month. And I got so frustrated looking at it that I just took it apart and put it away. So, if someone wants to play me online, I'm more than willing. I've never played this game online, so I guess it goes slow.
All right, number 6 for me is a war game in some sense of the words. Everyone argues about it, but it will be Memoir 44.
Oh, that's not a war game.
Yeah, okay. Well, we're things are getting pretty exciting. I'm looking forward to all the expansions that Days of Wonder has coming out this year. But Joe and I had some good games of Memoir. A 2-player game Memoir would probably not be in my top 10. I like 2-player Memoir; it's fun. But when you play with 8 players, the Overlord scenarios, that's one of the most fun experiences I've ever had playing a game.
Yeah, that's pretty fun.
And Eric, the head of Days of Wonder.
Our good buddy, Eric.
We took him down.
Yeah.
Made him cry.
Eric's a good guy. I like Eric, even
Yes.
if he is French, right?
Days of Wonder, tremendous company. Buy every game that they
He's
produce.
American that's from France. I'm sorry. No,
anyway, trying to steer clear of Joe starting international problems.
Yeah, right. Speaking of war games, my next favorite game is Kingmaker.
Not a war game.
It's more of a war game than Memoir 44. Anyway,
Possibly.
Kingmaker is a good classic. I had a good experience this last Origins. I won the opening day competition, got myself a little trophy, little banner that I can hang in my classroom and all. But it's just a good game. I just like the diplomacy part of it, where you can make alliances, and the favorite part, how you can just take someone prisoner and just kill them at your own leisure. That's kind of fun. Kill the queen, whatever. I like that game a lot.
Yeah, there's some features of it I like. I just felt it was too long, and I didn't like when my whole big army was in London and London got hit by
A plague.
I thought that was annoying. My next game, I think we're at number 7 now, is El Grande, which would be higher, except Wallenstein is a very similar game, and the cube tower is cooler than the Castillo. But El Grande is just a pure game. It's another game that I feel that I'm pretty good at, but I like El Grande with 3, 4, or 5. It works well with all those players, and it's very abstract. The expansions don't add or subtract from the game much. The regular game, once you get with people who know what they're doing, it's just a lot of fun.
My 7th game is Atlantic Storm. Actually, a card game, a trick-taking game. My buddy Bob introduced me to this game, and I liked it so much I went out and bought a copy that very night on eBay. I just really, really enjoy this game. It's easy to teach. It's got a tacked-on theme, but it works. The theme works for it. It's fun to try to speak in a German accent a little bit, just have fun. I think Tom likes this game too, even. But our friend Bob likes it so much that he always wants to play it. And other than that, it's a good game.
Actually, I just, on Geek Questions, which is these new random questions you can answer, someone asked, what game do you play to appease your group? And my game was Atlantic Storm, because Bob, who is one of the best gamers I've ever played with in my life, great to be around. Whenever you ask him to play a game, he'll always say, I'm flexible. But every once in a while, he has to play a game, and it's Atlantic Storm. That's the only time.
He always has his copy in his bag.
Yep. Bob has 2 copies. It's too bad it's out of print. It'd be nice if they had made a Pacific Storm like they had planned, but it's an okay game.
I got all my cards in card protectors even. That's how much I like it.
All right, my next favorite game is Age of Steam by Martin Wallace. Martin Wallace, just a tremendous designer. I'm not a big fan of train games, perhaps, although I'm starting to like more and more of them. I'm not yet going to become a Puffing Billy, but Age of Steam is just a really good game. Every time I play it, I have fun. Even when I'm getting destroyed in the game, I'm having fun. I like the Korean map, maybe because that's where we live, but it's Age of Steam is a really good game.
Yeah, it is one of the games I really like a lot. It's one of my favorite Euro games. I think it's because of all the confrontation that's in it. I don't know. I like getting in people's face, trying to mess them up. No, I like that game a lot. My next favorite game, number 8, is the old classic there, Hannibal, Rome versus Carthage. I think it's kind of inflated for price on the internet. It's kind of crazy. It's a good game, but I just wish someone would reprint it. It's a fun game. Every time I've played it, it's come down to, the last turn or the second to last turn. I even played it with Tom once. Tom didn't like it too much.
No, you didn't play it with me.
No, who'd you play with? Shin?
No, when I went to Origins last year, there was nothing to do when I first got there.
Oh, that's
so
right.
I got wrangled into a game.
No, I like the game. I just wish it wouldn't be so expensive.
Yes, I don't like any games over $100. Maybe they're worth it, but just reprint these things. My number 9 game is Liberté, another game by Martin Wallace. Some people may consider this an abstract game, but I really feel that it's a very well-themed game. I've used it in history classes. It really brings across the chaotic times of the French Revolution, and I don't think there were people who secretly had shares in all 3 of the factions, even though I guess there was 100 factions or so. But it really does a good job. The game is close. You can win even if you're way behind in victory points. There's 2 alternate winning conditions. The bits are just really cool. Even though the colors and the cards in the one section don't match up, it's still just a really good game. It was hard to trade it away from Joe.
My number 9 is, believe it or not, it's a Euro game. It was a close tie with Upfront, which is not a Euro game. But my number 9 game is Manhattan. I don't know. For some reason, this game and me just get along. I just like the fact how you can.
Same designer as Puerto Rico, Joe.
Yeah, go figure. I can't figure that out. Every dog has his day, I guess, right? But I just really enjoy this game. I like trying to trick people into trying to make the tallest building, and while they get sidetracked in their little skyscraper race, sneak in behind and take over all the neighborhoods. I don't know. I just like that game.
My last one on this list, number 10, is Time's Up. It's the only party game to make the list. It's hard for me to even think of board games and party games in the same category. And Time's Up has really been threatened by Why Did the Chicken, which is a really good party game by Corey Heath that just came out last year. But Time's Up by Peter Sarrett is just a tremendously good game. People have talked about how it's a copy of a game that you can make with a piece of paper and pen. Well, phooey, I say. Buy the commercial version. It's so much nicer.
Yeah, Time's Up's fun.
And it has produced some of the funniest moments of my life. I didn't know my wife knew how to snort drugs, but apparently she does.
Oh, man. I can't believe you said that in this. She'll kill you if she listens to it.
She doesn't really do it.
All right, let's get off of that.
Oh, you did do number 10.
I said I was get off of your talking about snorting drugs.
Oh, sorry.
All right. My number 10 used to be Formula Day, which is, I think, a really fun game. But I have a new number 10, which is Battle for Germany. It's just an old game. It's very simple. I got introduced to this game, and it's an interesting game where one player plays the Western Front of the Americans and the British, and then the Eastern Front of the Germans, and the other player plays the Western Front of the Germans and the Eastern Front of the Russians. You're trying to be the first person to capture Berlin. It's just a real fun game. It's just, I think it's one of the few games that I would call eloquent. I don't know. I mean, every time I played it, I just really have enjoyed it.
Okay, now we're going to quickly look at the questions that people didn't put on our thread. And let's see. Josh Adelson says, are we going to do an audio tour of Origins so he can follow us around chanting obscenities in the background? Should we dignify that with a response?
Sure.
Okay.
Tell you what, I don't know.
All right. Actually, we only got one question, so maybe we'll have more next time. But this is from Mr. Money, who I guess I should make friends with. He lives in Korea near Daegu, which is, 4 hours from here?
Yeah, 3-4 hours.
So he says the summer humidity here can get righteously brutal, and we're about to find that out. Have you ever had any of your games damaged by the extreme mugginess? And what do we do to stop this? When I lived in Pensacola, Florida, there was humidity there, but I don't think I've ever had a board game ruined by humidity. I don't even think I've even noticed board games being ruined by humidity. Have you?
Some of my old war games are kind of musty smelling, and they smell like old gym socks. But that's just
it's because you don't wash.
all war games after they get 20 years old start to get that good war game smell. You know what I'm talking about. The thrift store smell, right? But I haven't had any problems with mugginess. I don't know.
Well, if you keep it in a room that's like mine are in my classroom at school, but even if I moved them, even when they were in my house, I kept them in a room with few windows. I made sure to keep them away from the windows. And I didn't have that much of a problem with the games.
I have more problem with my kids with my games than humidity.
Yeah, I'll set a game up on my desk because I'll be ready to review it, and I'll come back and, the kids are playing cards with the cards from that particular game.
I had the same thing happen, but they're playing cards with upfront cards, which is really made me mad.
That's a buck of cards there. So that's all the questions. Well, we thank you for...
wow, that was really tough.
All right, so what we're going to do here is we'll pull up some...
No, we should go to like one of the Geek Speaks and like steal their questions. We should answer them.
No. We'll pull up some of these random geek questions.
There
here.
you go, geek questions.
All right, and we're only going to do ones that refer to games, unless we think it's interesting enough to not. Okay. Dirk or Aldi?
What is that supposed to mean? I like Dirk personally. I think he's more manly.
See, I'm more with Aldi, just because he actually does the stuff and gets it done.
Yeah, but in Geek Speak, Dirk's so funny. Aldi just kind of reminds me of you. You just kind of...
Should we go there?
No, let's get that next question.
All right. While I'm looking for another question, Joe, why don't you... We actually, as much as we're into board games, and I'm much more into solely board games than Joe. We also go into other aspects of gaming. Like we both occasionally play computer games, but Joe also plays a lot of miniature games. So I thought maybe.
Yeah, sure. I really I know that 40K is considered by some to be sacrilegious and all this because of Games Workshop and their
the evil corporate Microsoft of the board gaming.
But I like it. I think it's fun. It's easygoing. It's not very realistic. I really like the historical miniatures and things like this. The squad level, and the company level, and below. But a lot of soldiers I know and play games with, they really like the 40K. So I have a huge 40K orc army. I'm currently building a demon hunter army. I got pictures of the guys playing games and whatnot at my website, my personal website that I use for the missionary stuff that I do. If you've never seen it, you should check out the pictures. You can find them at www.jmsteadman.com. And then there's a link on that page that'll say Gaming Ministry or look at the games. And I got some pictures there. I don't know, I just have a good time with the guys. Every Sunday after church, I go and I pick up the guys, and they come over to my house. We play games. We play, just hang out, watch TV. We usually feed them home-cooked meals and whatnot. I don't know, it gives the guys a place to go rather than hanging out in the barracks or whatnot. It's really rewarding ministry. Even Tom's come over a few times. When I tell him we're not going to play miniatures, he comes over with a big backpack full of Euro games.
Or Twilight Imperium 3, which is kind of...
Oh, yeah, we got some pictures of us playing that, right.
Thing. I wanted to make a disclaimer here before we went further. Many times, and recently on my blog at GameFest, I put up pictures of board gaming cafes, and there's hundreds of game cafes here in Korea, and people sometimes email me and say, I wish I was where you are. I wish you could do all this. And let me explain. Korea is a great place. Board games are big here, probably bigger per population than they are in America.
Yeah.
However, we do run into some problems playing these games. For one thing, we don't speak Korean. And because we don't speak Korean...
Chokumyo.
Right. Well, yeah. Okay. We
Little
speak.
bit.
We speak a little bit, and we have some Korean friends who speak English, and we play games with them. And then there's other. In the Korean culture, it's not so much get together and play games with the gamers. A lot of times they get together and just play games with their friends already. So if you go to a board game cafe, you'll see a couple friends come in and they come and play Rummikub and then they leave, or they come in and play Bonanza and leave.
Yeah.
And it's so don't be too jealous of us. I think it's a great place to live and everything, but it's not like we live in the country that is a game convention. There's a lot of games.
Yeah.
All right, so here's a question. What is your fondest gaming memory from childhood?
Mine, that's easy for me. I remember I was 12 years old, and my dad always worked third shift, and I hardly didn't see him very much. He was a working man, blue-collar kind of guy, and he loved World War II. It was like every day he would come home after work, and he would before he go to bed, he'd watch an old war movie, and I think that's why I love history so much. But one time, I talked him into playing Axis and Allies, and it was my brother and me versus my dad, and he kicked our tails. But it was just, I don't know, it was just a good memory. Yeah, I'll never forget it.
Yeah, I think a lot of my memories come from my dad playing games with me, but I think probably my favorite gaming memory was taking the old Hero Quest game and becoming a dungeon master and allowing the other kids to go through my dungeon. Maybe it gave me this feeling of euphoric power, but I really enjoyed that. And so many good games I played back then, I didn't know how good they were until just recently started playing them again.
Sure.
Internet Explorer, Firefox.
Firefox.
That's
Right now I'm frustrated because the computer I'm using right now does not have Firefox, and I'm addicted to the tabs. I love Firefox.
yes, I extremely like Firefox. It's
All
much
right,
better.
Here's a good question. Do you prefer winning by a narrow margin or by a lot? I like narrow margin because I like biting the nails and coming down to the very end.
I think I'm gonna have to agree there. Although occasionally I have run into gamers in my lifetime, and I've mentioned a couple on my blog. We had a friend named, we'll just call him Oscar. But
Oscar.
we had a friend who, if I beat him by a narrow margin, it was almost a victory for him.
Yeah.
So it was best just to beat him so badly.
Oh, the guy with flawless strategy. Well, how about the time that? Well, I remember one time, Tom, you kicked our tails. You kicked our tails one time in Tigers and Euphrates, like crazy beat us, and you were like gloating about it. You still gloat about it.
I do.
So don't even talk. I think you like to win by a lot.
Well, I like to win by a lot. Well, it depends. I like to beat you. Well, I don't know.
It's because you hardly ever do.
Whenever I play a Euro game for the first time, I don't care if I lose because I'm just so enthralled with playing it. The second time, I'm still enthralled maybe. The third time, it starts coming down to
Yeah, but how many games
better
in
win.
your vast collection have you played 3 times?
more than you think. Joe doesn't play too many games more than once with me because I'm always saying, oh look, here's the latest pile of games that I'm going to review. I mean, just recently we got a whole pile in and we played Infinity or whatever it's called.
Facility.
Yeah, well, whatever. It was a pretty interesting game, and we played Get Paul That Promotion, which is an interesting party game.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Well, that was fun.
It was a fun game.
The wives liked it.
Yeah,
It's
they
always
did.
important to have games the wives like.
It's a game though that I think would require people with creativity, and I think maybe that's why some party games suffer. I think Apples to Apples is the best party game in some senses because anyone can play it, no matter how good they are. You can throw a card out.
The game gets old though.
Right. But Time's Up and Why Did the Chicken and the game we just played, Get Paul That Promotion, require the people to have some semblance of creativity and also to be in a good mood, in a mood to where they're gonna.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that question. If you could be a character in a board game, who would you be? A character in a board
I'd be
game?
Colonel Mustard.
But why?
Or Mr. X.
Mr. X is pretty cool from Scotland Yard. We just played that.
Yeah,
and
you beat us too.
No, you won.
Oh, I did capture you. That's right.
I tried to sneak right under Joe's nose, and it did not
You're
work.
taking advantage of our Korean friend who seemed to be making some mistakes.
Well, no. And Shin, when you listen to this, he was just kidding.
Oh, that's right. Hi, Shin.
If I was a character from a board game, I'd like to be that guy from Candyland who lives in the Gumdrop Mountains or whatever.
Plum or whatever.
The
No,
Gumdrop.
that's back to
Character from a board game. I wouldn't want to be anyone from Doom or half the games we play. It seems like people get massacred.
Yeah.
All right, what's the most shocking...
Someone from Duel of Ages, who would you want to be?
Duel of Ages? Oh. Well...
Lara Swan?
No, that's my wife. I wouldn't want to be my wife. Duel of Ages. I don't know. Probably the guy who becomes a superhero.
Yeah, all right.
Well, what's the most shocking violation of gaming etiquette you've ever seen? It's probably the same for both of us. Oh, maybe not.
What's yours?
Mine is probably when we played with a player, we played a game of Air Barons.
Air Barons, oh my goodness.
And this one player refused to roll. I mean, after a while, he got really angry with dice. He said the dice, only these certain dice worked. And he refused to roll any other dice on the table but these dice and got very angry. He started yelling at anyone who attacked him ever, even when he was at one point winning by a wide margin, and complained and complained and complained and complained. And it's one of the few times I've got up in a game and shouted at someone who was not only older than me, but was an officer in the Army. And
he was an NCO.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Let me explain it a little bit, though. We play games, Tom and I, we play games a lot with soldiers and guys that we wouldn't normally play games with if we weren't missionaries, right? I guess that's the best way to say it. And
Probably.
so, before you criticize why you even play with this guy, we're doing this because we're giving this guy somewhere to go other than a bar or other than back to his barracks. And so we kind of have to swallow our pride and just have a good time sometimes.
That's true, and
man.
I was not right for standing up and yelling, but that's, for me, is one of the most shocking things of gaming etiquette, except, you know, of course, when I was a kid, there was the atomic bombs where a kid would kick a board across the room with all the pieces.
I thought you would say that the 3 times that we tried to play 2 different games at your house and we never could finish them. What was it, Twilight Imperium and what's
Risk
2210?
Risk 2210 is the game that makes everyone mad. I've never played the game in my life where someone did not get mad.
Didn't I get eliminated like in the first turn?
Yeah, well,
I need to give a chance to play.
We had just started. This was when me and Joe had just started playing games, and
Oh.
I figured he was a smart guy, and so I took him out on the first turn.
I didn't even get a chance to move.
And he didn't know really what's going on, and so that maybe is why we're still have some animosity to this day.
I won't play that game ever again.
So that was your worst etiquette thing, was when I killed you there?
No, there's other ones, but
All right. Have you ever played Panzer Blitz? I haven't. Have you?
of course I have. It's like one of the classics.
Okay. Favorite board game geek feature?
Favorite board game geek feature? Oh man, what do you think? There's so many now.
Well, I guess I'm kind of caught up currently in online werewolf games. I think they're pretty fun. I didn't think a werewolf game would be as good online as it was in person, and it's probably not, but it's still a whole lot of fun. And it's much more intellectual when it's online because people make these really long-winded intellectual responses about nothing. I think this guy's guilty because, and they'll talk for a really long time, and there's really no reason at all. But it sounds good.
I tried to play the Zendo thing, but it started giving me a headache when people got out of control. As far as like,
Yeah.
well, it's Zendo because they're, it was crazy. Like 15 things out, and there's no way I guess I'm not smart enough. Now, my favorite thing on Board Game Geek has to be the grading of pictures and geek list. I love and tags. Oh, I love tags as my favorite thing. No, I don't know. I like a lot of different things. I just like surfing it. I wish more people would use the chat. I'd like to get into the chat with some of these people that are more well known. But
I agree. The chat's fairly underused, but I mean, I guess maybe Grogner scared everyone away when he lived in there for a while.
yeah, he did. Didn't
Maybe
he?
for 2 weeks on end, no matter what time I went in. All right. Well, it seems like most of these.
Here you go. Here's one. If you could game with anyone from history, who would it be and what game? Napoleonic Wars versus Napoleon?
I think I would play a game of diplomacy, even though I hate the game, and I
Against-
would try to lose. I would put Napoleon in it. Napoleon, maybe Hannibal.
So all these great minds.
Well, okay. Well, let's skip just historical. Let's just talk about games. I would probably play. I'd probably find Einstein and play a game of maybe
Uno?
Jenga, and win.
Jenga.
And kick his butt.
Well, then you can
Say,
play.
who's smart now?
Just play any Euro game because anyone can win. It's just that's.
I
Do you want to open that can?
I don't know. Coke or Pepsi? Pepsi. All right. Here's one. Do we sample many new games or master one good game? Well, my opinion on that's I guess my reviews should be pretty easy. Is I like to sample many new games.
I like to master one good game. But I have a lot of games.
Yeah. Joe has more games. Joe has more games than most people.
I got just under 300.
Yeah. Well, I finally, for the first time since I started collecting it majorly, I finally started getting rid of some games. I actually am selling off a whole pile of games. Most of them are junk. None of them are games I like. I just finally figured, why should I keep a game around like China Moon? Even though Bruno Fiduti is one of my favorite designers, I can't stand China Moon. I might as well get rid of Time Control. I make jokes about it all the time. Why do I even have the game?
Hey, I got 3 games off you. What I get? I got Assault on Hoth. What was the other ones? I got Hunt for Red October.
And Moondragon.
Moondragon.
None of the 3, I from reading the rules and stuff, were bad games. They're just not really up my alley, and more kind of the games that Joe would like. Moondragon's a miniatures, spaceship flying game, and that's okay.
Hunt for Red October is not that good of a game. Just the one scenario where you try to hunt down the Red October, that's fun.
All right, I guess we got time for a couple more questions, and then we'll...
See, you have to ask us questions so we don't have to sit here and ramble about geek questions, because I know you really don't care.
Have you ever been on a televised quiz show? No, and we're even trying to get a...
Did you... What kind of dumb question is that? Who asked that question? What's that guy's name?
Fox.
I never even heard of him.
Oh, yeah. Click on this thing. You'll recognize his... You'll recognize his...
Werewolves?
Well, he's in one of the Werewolves games now. Okay, here's a question that someone just recently asked me, and that was, how do you decide what games to play when you get together?
We let Tom pick.
Well, yeah, usually, I guess. I'm pretty bad about saying, oh, look at this new game, we have to try it out. But let's say we're in a setting, and this has happened to us before. Yeah. Let's say we're in a setting where we get together, and I have no new games, which happens every once in a while.
Yeah.
And we have a bunch of games from both of us. How do we decide? We usually hem and haw for like 30 minutes.
I'll say I don't want to play that game, and then you say, okay, well I don't want to play this game, and we'll finally get it down to 2 or 3 games, and then we'll let someone else pick.
And are usually those one of the 20 games that are a cross between Euro games and war games, like Game of Thrones.
No, they're Euro games that have confrontation.
Right.
Or war games that are really Euro games.
I'll give Joe props. He'll play any Euro game once.
And I'll win.
Although he's hemming and hawing on Mermaid Rain, which...
Did I like that game?
No, you said you didn't want to play it because of the theme.
The theme is just ridiculous. What was that other game we played?
Garden Competition.
The Flower Power game?
But it's a tremendously good game.
Here's a question submitted by Tom Vasel. Ooh, what is the best web comic? I have to say, hands down, is Turn Signals on a Land Raider. That's the one I like.
Well, I found a new one. Because of this question, I found a lot of good webcomics. What was the one? Order of the Stick, which was a pretty funny comic. But, all right. One more question, and then we're gonna shut this down because we don't even know if we're recording properly.
Probably not.
And I do apologize for the outbursts of statics. We just get loud and excited and too close to the microphone.
I was going to try to say that we're in Korea, so we're far, far away.
Yeah.
We're so far away.
We're using horses to ride here. And no, we should have done the theme for MASH.
Oh, MASH. Oh, yeah.
All right, best nickname for a game? Don't we have some games that we have nicknames for?
We have plenty, but we can't say them on the radio.
What are you talking about?
Puerto Rico. No, I don't know. The Slate. No, I'm not going to go there.
Risk 2210. We always we just call it the game that we always fight about. Or Twilight Imperium is the game that never gets finished.
I don't know. We'll probably think of all these good answers.
Yeah.
We should rehearse next time. What do you think? We should, since we don't have any questions, we could... I bet you Dirk and Aldi do that.
But we didn't have any dead space. We just kept talking. That's one thing. You can tell we're both teachers, because teachers just never shut up.
You think Dirk and Aldi do that? They probably sit around for 20 minutes and go over each question.
Have you listened to their show?
Once
that
or
was
twice.
For you, Dirk. No.
I listened to the one that you were on, because I called in a question.
Yeah, I know. Well, we're not...
Dirk made fun of me.
I doubt we'll ever take in calling in questions, because... Well, I guess we could. It would be a pain, though. Because I don't know how to hook up the phone to the...
No one wants to call us. It's too expensive.
Although it's not that expensive, but yeah. But if you email me questions, we'll answer them. Again, Maybe I'm talking to nothing because no one's...
Are we still online?
Oh, I think we just lost our network. No, only Joe lost his. All right, well, that is pretty much it for today.
Now, if you want us to be more controversial in the future, I can be, but...
Yes, we could be, and we could start speaking names of people who irritate us on the
Call them
internet.
out by name.
You know, mention these people are, and the optimist could disappear. But for now, I'll be writing my blog every weekend at GameFest.com.
I'll be trolling as normal.
You can look at Board Game Geek. I guess that's it. I'm gonna start the theme music, which is from
Cowboy
Bebop, and I don't really care for most music in general, but I mean not most music in general. I don't really care for all the Cowboy Bebop music, but this song is just so insane. I thought it was funny. So
안녕히 계세요.
yes, 안녕히 계세요. Have a good day.